Oh, snap! Oh, snap! Snapped out on this one. Oh, man. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to do it, man. They came out with the movie Sound of Freedom. It was feeling good. They're bringing awareness to the kids. But they messed up, though. They messed up, though, when they tried to shame us. No, you will not. No, you will not. Yeah. But first, music brought to you by Latin Dream. Hooked it up on this one. Let me get my Facebook family in. Let me get my Facebook family in. Oh snap. Oh snap. We are live. What? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, man. They came with the movie, man. The movie was feeling good. They had us feeling good with the movie. Bringing awareness to the kids. Oh, man, but they messed up. They messed up. They tried to shame us. They tried to shame us into going to see this movie. They want you to feel like you're a pedophile if you don't go see this movie. Not on my watch. I will not do it. I will not stand for it. So we're going to get into that. But first, music brought to you by Latin Dream and GOMB. Right now, as we speak, they're on stage performing live down in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Stand up. Sorry, I couldn't be there, fam, but I had to give the people this truth. Had to give them this truth, man. Let's keep that going, though, man. That music's fire, man. That music's fire. Oh, man. What happened to it? What happened to it? Here we go. Here we go. Oh, man. They forced me to do it, man. They forced me to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I'm going to get I might get some other friends on this one, man. So for everybody that's going to hit that unfriend button, it's been an honor Facebooking with you. Peace! Because I got to give them this truth. Got to do it. I got to do it. They forced me, man. They forced me. They forced me. Getting everything set up, man. We're almost there. We're almost there. Almost. Oh, man. Hey, yo, Latin Dream, good looking out on the beat. Appreciate you, fam. Man, this is gonna be a banger. Woo-hoo. Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget. Hey, we got some questions for Five Stones. Five Stones. Five Stones Fight Club. Step up to the front, please. Step up to the front of the congregation, please. We just got a couple questions. You ain't in trouble. Remember when they used to call us to the principal's office? You ain't in trouble. in here in a minute. Give me a minute, man. Give me a minute, man. This is some deep research, man. I spent hours on this, man. Give me a little time. We almost there. We're almost there. I know you got the notification. Hey, yo, check this out. I'm putting this out as a warning. As a warning. Don't be the next contestant up on this Summer Jam screen. You heard? Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Doing it, man. We doing it this time. In the building with it. Ooh, man. Sound of music. Step to the front. Not sound of music. I'm sorry. Sound of freedom. Sound of music was the other one. I should do a video on that one too. That'll break too many hearts. I'm not going to do that. So let's get this going, man. Let's go ahead and put that on pause. And let's get this cracking. So we got the movie Sound of Freedom dropped July 4th. I mean, it's just hitting all the buttons, man. Dropped on July 4th. Talking about the kids. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? The marketing scheme behind this movie is ingenious. I gotta give them that. But it's also scandalous and, in my opinion, unethical. So let's go ahead and switch over to the Summer Jam screen. Let's get it. Oh man, what's going on here? A little wider there. There you go. You don't need to see too much of me. So let's get this thing. Started. Oops. Oh, okay, I see what happened there. Okay. So everybody knows the movie, right? Everybody knows the movie. Sound of Freedom. July 4th, it dropped. People ran out to see it, right? Did you see it? Did you go see it? I was about to go see it. I'll tell you this. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw this come down my timeline, it got me. It got me too. I shared it and everything. I probably tagged a couple people. But then we started hearing the story about if you don't go see this movie, or the fact that this movie is helping to support rescue efforts of people that are going and getting these kids out of there. So, let me get my notes together here. All right, Sound of Freedom, let's go. So, basically it goes like this, in case you've been under a rock somewhere. Tim Ballard, this is basically a reenactment of Tim Ballard and what he supposedly does through his organization called Operation Underground Railroad. And I don't really appreciate you taking that name, because I understand the concept of, getting people to safety and stuff like that, but come on, man. Underground Railroad, come on, man. You know that's taken. Anyway, so you got Tim Ballard. He's a former government agent, and he's saving kids all around the world. Here's the problem with this whole thing. I guess really a large majority of the stories of him going on these missions really cannot be verified. Okay? They can't be verified. He's saying these things, but there's no corroboration, and we're going to get more deeper into that. But I just, as an intro, I want to put that out there. Now, like I said in the intro, you know, you're almost made to feel like you support child trafficking if you don't go see this movie. I got clips after clips. I'm going to have to pull something up here, man. These people are saying anything. You got people that are claiming to be workers in these movie theaters and that they're being given orders to poison people's drinks and put little nanobots in their drinks and stuff like this. Craziness. Anyway, Tim Ballard, he has an organization called Operation Underground Railroad. And let me tell you this, you may not know this with all the hype of the movie, but this organization has been under suspicion for years, okay? And not only that, but this movie was made years ago, okay? They sat on this movie, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, you know, he's been under suspicion. There's always these stories that he says he's involved with, but there's no way to verify. I'll give you an example. There was a little girl named Lillian. She was 14 years old. She gets taken advantage of by this older guy. He supposedly is able to kind of seduce her in a way, gain her trust. He was bringing her around his family and stuff like that. She ended up trusting this guy, and he ended up convincing her to go over into the U.S. They were originally in Mexico. He convinces her to go over into the U.S. Once they get over there, he basically turns on her, and she becomes an sex slave for the next 3 years. Eventually, she would escape on her own. Remember that, and keep that in mind. There was no one with her. There was no one running hand in hand with her as she ran out of this place. After 3 years of being passed around, person to person, man to man. Tim Ballard would later get on Fox News and say it was him and his organization that was responsible for her escape. However, everybody involved could not verify this. There was no evidence of this. He even mistakenly changed her age to 11 when the incident happened when she was 14. Other parts of the story would become unverifiable. I encourage you, if you look in the description, I encourage you to go to Seth Andrews' page and channel and look at his breakdown of this, as he'll get more into detail of these stories and what happened and some of the things that he said he did, which were almost impossible to verify. This story about the 14-year-old girl was actually used to support the Trump wall effort, which ended up actually being a big scam. Let me go ahead and turn that on here real quick. Let's see here. Which one was that? Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. No, that's not it. Where is... I guess I'll put that up there for now. But I gotta find this. Oh, it's here somewhere. Turn that off. Yes, it is. Okay, so let me find this. I don't know what I did with that picture. That's not it. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to add it in here real quick. But you got to see this because the whole Trump wall thing was a big scheme. A bunch of people got put in jail because of this thing. And this was the story that they were using with this guy, Tim Ballard. Now, watch this. I'll pull this up here real quick. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. Check this out. Let me make this a little smaller here. So these are We Build the Wall scheme. This was a whole big scam where they got people to donate all this money, you know, and people got all excited about it and emotional and gave all this money. Turns out it was a big scam. The federal government had to get involved, started arresting people. Donald Trump, of course, didn't get arrested. But look, see this lady walking in right here? Going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Accomplices. And they all went and had to serve real jail time because of that. And like I said, the story of Lillian was used as a way to say, hey, if we had the wall up, you know, this person wouldn't have been able to, you know, bring her across into the country so easily. The story went viral. It was all over the place. And like I said, people gave millions and millions of dollars, and it turned out to be a big scam. They didn't put any of the money towards building the wall. They took those people's money and lined their pockets with it and continued living their rich, extravagant lives. And that just is what it is. That's not conspiracy. That happened in federal court. These people went to prison over this fake news story that they were always accusing people of so much. Now check this out. Tim Ballard would eventually go on stage and talk about this golden padlock story. And the story is this. There was one of these agents from this Operation Underground Railroad. There was an agent supposedly wrestled away this padlock that was going to be used to lock this child away. They see this child get abducted. They're chasing after the child. They get the child. They wrestle away this padlock that they were going to supposedly lock these children in this cage with. But there's no evidence. There's no evidence of this. There's no way to verify this. But he would walk out on the stage and he pulls out the padlock. The story goes viral. Everybody's all in their emotions about it. But again, there's no evidence for this. Check this out. Tim Ballard. See, you got to look into these people before you allow yourself to get all hyped up about this. Look into these people, man. Check this out. Oops, that was the wrong one. Here we go. Bang. Okay, so here goes the thing about the padlock. Vice did a story on this. Again, this was some years ago. Hold on here. Okay, so there we go. So Vice does a story on this. Now, if you look on the left-hand side, this is where they're basically talking about this padlock. Our aftercare team and Jessica saw something was happening and intervened. Ballard told the audience, everybody's amazed by this story. She laid down her life for these girls, for their liberation, and somehow wrestled that padlock out of their hands, out of the hands of that trafficker in this intense moment. He held something up in his hands, and what was it? A golden padlock. This is the very padlock that had been used to lock these girls behind a jail cell. And everybody was so amazed at this story. Check this out, they do an investigation. These specific stories that the organization spells O.U.R, Operation Underground Railroad, tells are intensely somatic, bold, heroic, and extremely difficult to fact check. They are also not the entire truth. An investigation by Vice World News focused O.U.R's operation identified the divide between the group's actual practices and some of its claimed successes. What we found aren't outright falsehoods, but a pattern of image burnishing and mythology building, a series of exaggerations that are, in the aggregate, quite misleading. Come on, man. Come on, man. These guys are saying stuff that cannot be verified. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. They claim to have worked with law enforcement all around the world. But when you talk to these law enforcement agencies, most of them never even heard of this guy, much less worked with him in some kind of capacity. Other reputable child advocacy organizations never heard of this organization. And they really help with these issues. They really help with displacement. Check this out. Check this out right here. These organizations right here, they really do this type of work. Okay? You want to give your money somewhere? Go to these organizations right here that you can verify what they're doing. Okay? U.S. Department of Criminal Justice Services has no dealings with them. That's a quote. Office of Refugee Settlement is usually involved in these type of things. When somebody gets rescued out of a situation, they have to be placed somewhere else. These organizations are the ones that come in and help with that. They don't know of these people. They don't work with these people. They don't support these people. U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, they're usually involved with the survivors of trafficking. Understand, they really do this work. They really work with law enforcement. This is all verifiable. This isn't stories, anecdotal garbage. Department of Health Administration for Children and Families. They really do this work. They really do this work. It isn't anecdotal stuff that can't be shown any evidence for. It can't be proven. Can't be verified. They can show you everything. If you want to give your money to something like that. Don't be fooled into being emotionally triggered by this, because most people have children. Most people can relate to how it would feel to lose your child. And they're using that as a way to get profits. Again, all these organizations have no connection with this group that everybody's rushing out to see this movie and support this group. Meanwhile, these groups here are doing the real work, and nobody is supporting these groups. Think about that. Think about that. Think about how frustrated these groups are sitting back probably watching this movie. And they're really out here doing this work, putting their lives on the line, working with law enforcement. Tim Ballard, when you look at his politics, when you look at his ideologies, when you look at his belief systems, he is Q conspiracy all the way. And shout out to my man Ryan Zeiders, man. Sorry, I gotta go in on Q like this. But listen, Q, they believe in some real extreme things. Go and look them up. Look up the QAnon conspiracy theories and look at all the stuff that, for one, they got wrong, and for two, it's just so out there. Tim Ballard is a leader in that thought. He's being played in this movie. He's being played by the same guy, Jim Caviezel, who played Jesus in the Passion of the Christ movie, where we all watched him get tortured to death on screen. Of course, it was a reenactment. But he's the same way. When you look into his background, into his ideology, into some of the speeches he's given, into some of the interviews he's given, QAnon all the way, far right, extreme conspiracy theory. Then The Passion of the Christ, of course, is how we connected. The Passion of the Christ was, of course, directed by Mel Gibson. Come on, man. All these dudes are QAnon nut jobs that just happen to be papered up. So when you turn on the screen, because these are all Hollywood people and all of this, when you turn on the screen, these is what you see. And they're believed because they're on screen. But the truth is, man, is these guys have wild conspiracy theories that they're touting here. Check this out. Now let me ask you this. Any other movie, when did based on a true story become fact? When did we start hearing that phrase and think, this movie's probably going to be pretty accurate? That never happened. You know what movie that happened in? I could say the closest one, the movie that happened in, I would say the NWA movie. You want to go check out some history? Look at that movie right there, and look at how you can see the real in a situation. But this right here, this Sound of Freedom, nothing is verifiable. These groups that I got on screen right here, these are the groups that really put in that work like that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to give your money, yo, get your Fire Stick out and stream that Sound of Freedom. To them, it's the sound of money. You know what I'm saying? Because they have everybody emotionally invested in that. I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. All this can be looked up. Go look these groups up. Go look these groups up. But here's the real trick. Here's the craziest part. How did Hollywood trick us into really believing that Hollywood don't want you to see this movie? You seeing that all over the place. The left, they don't want you to see this. Hollywood, they tried to bury it. They don't want you to see it. No, the reason they didn't produce this movie before was because this whole group that this movie is about was under federal investigation. And you don't believe me? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Here we go. Here we go. Watch this right here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right, now watch this real quick. I'm going to set that up. Now watch this, man. Watch this right here if you don't believe me. Now remember, this movie was made years ago. They didn't just make this. They had this movie sitting on a shelf. This is why. It's not a conspiracy. This is why. Watch this.
Because this is an ongoing criminal investigation, both sides are very limited in what they are saying. But Fox 13 News has learned that prosecutors are looking into several allegations.
Quieto, quieto, al suelo todos, todos al suelo, al suelo.
This is video from a 2014 human trafficking sting in Colombia. Members of Operation Underground Railroad working with local law enforcement.
Silencio, silencio.
There were about 54 girls ranging in age from 10 to 16, and they were expecting to have sex with all these Americans.
They're selling these kids to you like they're selling a car or a computer.
That's Tim Ballard.
They brought 5
That's Tim Ballard. He's a good actor, though.
11 years old, who were being offered as virgins, and you pay a premium for that. That's $1,000.
Many of those who work with Operation Underground Railroad, including its founder, Tim Ballard, and Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes, have experience in law enforcement. They say the issue of human trafficking has no borders.
We do these presentations a lot, and people are like, "You're kidding me. That can't exist here in our state."
For years, Fox 13 has reported on law enforcement efforts to stop human trafficking in Utah and abroad.
Those are real heroes, frontline first responders, firefighters, law enforcement.
Now, Fox 13 News has learned the Davis County Attorney's Office has opened a criminal investigation into Operation Underground Railroad.
This was a couple
According
years
to Davis
back.
County Attorney Troy Rawlings, quote, "We've received complaints and are in the process of reviewing those complaints. Because of the ongoing investigation, our request for records was denied."
That,
Just one quick thing. You talked about.
I think
I don't want to talk
Attorney
about it,
General
but I
Sean
know.
Reyes serves on Operation Underground Railroad's advisory board and even went undercover with that sting in Colombia.
Y fue mucho más interesante, tal vez. We actually had no idea he was the Attorney General. He just acted humble like everyone else.
On Tuesday, he talked about the great work being done by O.U.R. while receiving an award from Daughters of the American Revolution.
He has proven to the people of the state of Utah that he is a man of integrity and ability.
After the event, Reyes declined to answer questions about the nonprofit.
Do you have any concern about the fundraising?
The Davis County Attorney's Office is also saying little about its case, but Fox 13 has learned County Attorney Troy Rawlings posted a series of messages on his personal Instagram account last month. Quote, "Please beware of any individual, entity, or organization who solicits your money and may be claiming credit for work to
Look at
protect
that.
children that is
They're trying to warn the
actually
people.
done
Don't
by
give these
our
people
task
your money.
force." They have had absolutely zero involvement in any of these arrests and successful prosecutions you see on display on the wall of shame in the Davis County Attorney's Office.
Look at that. They had zero involvement.
The messages did
Zero
not name
involvement.
Operation Underground Railroad directly. According to public records, the nonprofit's revenue has more than
Look at
tripled
this.
over a span of 4
Look
years.
at that, man.
Let's do it, man. We're gonna answer the controversial questions right now. Oh, there's some big ones.
O.U.R. posted this video online last week, which did not address the
This is
investigation.
the movie y'all
The
running
sooner
out
we
to
answer
go
these
see.
questions, the
This is
sooner
the-
we
this
can
is
all
who y'all
join
going to see.
together.
Earlier today, we received this brief response from Operation Underground Railroad's legal counsel, Adam Becker, who says he spoke with the Davis County attorney today, who told him there is no investigation. We also reached out to the Attorney General, Sean Reyes. His office says they aren't aware of any investigation, and he wouldn't comment, even if he was aware of one.
See?
Kelly?
So, Adam, is there an investigation going on then?
Yeah, I mean, based on all of the documents we've received, based on the quotes we've heard from Troy Rawlings, the Davis County attorney, we
Based
firmly
on the
believe there
evidence.
is an investigation going on here. We cannot answer or speculate why O.U.R.'s attorney would send us a statement stating that there isn't one, but we're confident in our reporting, which is why we're here tonight. Because this is...
No doubt, no doubt. Now look at that. Look at that. But Hollywood is going to trick us into thinking that they don't want us to go see this movie. Like they don't want to get money. You know what I'm saying? But the problem was these people were under investigation. And nobody was claiming to have worked with these people. Watch this. I got one more. Kill that right there. Watch this right here. Watch it.
You're a white supremacist.
Hold on a second.
You're a white supremacist, whatever. If you're...
Hold on. Before that plays, he's going in. But this is Patrick Bet-David. He has a podcast on YouTube. More right-wing conservative style. Good speaker, good businessman, paid, doing his thing. But he got this guy on here that's getting ready to go in about how all this stuff is so real and all this stuff. But my question is to you, how do you know? You don't know these people. Let's go.
You're a white supremacist, whatever. If you're... By the way, this movie was they actually have footage of everything that happened, Tim Ballard, because it happened.
Did you see the movie?
I saw the movie.
Oh, you saw it? Wow.
I saw the movie, and I was telling Pat, some crazy moments are where they actually had footage, undercover footage or surveillance footage of people in third world countries and stuff going up to people like a kid wanders in the street, they grab them in a van, and they're gone. It's not a conspiracy theorist. And then it begs the question when people are like, why does one side want open borders? And why, if you think about it, Pat, there's a fact. 350,000 unaccompanied minors come across the border since 2021 till right now. 85,000 of.
Okay. So basically, he's giving all these stats and saying, this stuff really happens, this stuff really happens. Yeah, this stuff really happens. But what we need to know is what is really the involvement of this O.U.R group? How much are they really involved in this? You see what I'm saying? Like, what do we really know about that? And I'm just saying, like, it's not, see, it's like they want to shame us just for asking the question. You know, they want you to feel shame if you don't go see this movie. And that's just ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. It's a grift. It's a grift, man. It's a money scheme. They're pulling on the heartstrings to get your paper, man. Straight up. Straight up. And think about it, man. Hollywood is telling you, based on a true story, which we know that don't mean nothing. That's not giving you any kind of indication on what's really accurate in that movie. Now watch this. Now here in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, okay, we have a group. Well, they started in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. They started in Lebanon. Now they've moved out to Annville and Shamokin, right? Now, it's a fight club. It's called Five Stones Fight Club, okay? And I love what these people are about, because what they do is they take the kids, the troubled youth, take them into the gym, really try to show them how to be better men. And I really appreciate that. I respect that. But here's what happened. When I first met these guys, okay, they were doing the Fight Club thing, but also they were doing, and you can see all this on his website, they were doing like missions over to Iraq and all these other countries. I could be wrong on the country, but they're going across seas, right? They're doing these missions. Now, they're making it seem, or I'm being led to believe, that these are the type of missions that are involving like a rescue efforts. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're leading to believe. Now, forget about that though, whether that's true or not, who knows. But they was going over, they was helping people out across seas, right? Which, of course, a lot of this stuff you really can't verify. But where we ran into the problem was they came and they hosted this amateur boxing event. And this was a couple years back. I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that, a couple years back. The main person that was supposed to show up there was Mike Tyson. Okay? Mike Tyson, let me bring this up. Mike Tyson was supposed to be one of many old school boxing legends were going to show up to this fight. Now, how is this all connected? The reason this all connects is because we have a situation where someone was dishonest, and we see this Sound of Freedom movie coming out where it's really looking like it's a lot of cat. And so I'm just kind of wondering how involved were they going out to these places? Not this my business, whatever. But here's where I get involved at. So I like the work that these guys are doing. I decided to go and help sponsor the boxing event. They tell me Mike Tyson's going to be there along with others. Riddick Bowe, Bobby Seale, Vinny Paz, and other guys. It was a few others as well. Was able to get some pictures. Hold on, I'll bring that up real quick. Okay, maybe I didn't. Okay, whatever. But anyway, there was a bunch of guys there. I ended up, meeting some guys. I didn't go to the event. I met up with them the day after, and I'll tell you why. So we began to, we're helping to sponsor the event. So we began to post on our business website that Mike Tyson's going to be there. Now, if you're a boxing fan, you're going to want to see all these guys. But for the most part, everybody knows Mike Tyson. So that's what we were pretty much promoting, that part of it, just to get interest, get people in the seats. Okay, that was just, you know, that's what we was doing, because that's most people going to know Mike Tyson over Bobby Seale, unfortunately. So, I give my sponsorship money. I end up going to a church service. They have church in the gym, which that's so cool, because it's like you see all the workout equipment, you see the fighting ring and all of that. They have church in the gym. I show up to a service, right? At the end of the service, I'm standing there at the front of the church with this guy on top. Guys that you see on top is the leader, Shane. On the bottom is this guy, Alan, right? Of course, they work together. Alan, as I'm standing in front of Shane, okay? Shane's also the pastor, lead pastor of the church. Remember that. As I'm standing in front of them, Alan comes up to me. He says, hey, I just got off the phone with Mike Tyson. I talked with him personally. That's what they told me. They both chit-chatted about it. We were all kind of laughing and joking about it. Later on, as we're moving towards the event, a member of my team sends me a statement that Mike Tyson has released about this event. Excuse me. What they say is that what the statement says is that Mike Tyson never had any involvement with this event. He was never going to come. He was never intended to come at all. This gets released out into the public. I start getting messages, people asking me what's going on. I'm sure they were getting a lot of calls about it at the time. They end up putting out in the newspaper that the reason this happened was because they had spoke to the wrong people about Mike Tyson. They never said in the paper that they spoke directly to Mike Tyson. They made it seem like they had got scammed. They had been misled. But in reality, they knew that wasn't true. Because like I said, they told me directly that Mike Tyson had spoken with them personally and that he was going to be there and gassed me all up to come up out of my pocket. Now, I will say, to make it fair, they did make it right. They did give me my money back. And I was able to go and meet some of the guys that did show up. I didn't make the event because at the time I really wasn't sure what was going on. So we skipped the event. I went up and met up with them the next day. So I say all that to say this. If you are dishonest in one area, it's not unreasonable for people to suspect that you may be dishonest in another area. You understand? So all I'm saying is you have these groups, okay? They're making these claims of going across seas and doing all this stuff. But a lot of this stuff is unverifiable. And like I said, you have the groups. This was, by the way, this was a little clip of the event. The boxing match, you know, that I was just referring to. This was out in Paul Byron, Pennsylvania, where it was held at. And this was just a little taste of the action there. But look at this right here. These are the heroes. These are the heroes. How come you ain't working with these guys? Can I call these guys and say, hey, do you know Five Stones? Have you worked with these guys? Have they been a part of any real efforts to free people from trafficking rings or anything like that? I'm just asking. I mean, maybe the answer is yes. You know, and I salute all of that. I'm just saying, it's not unreasonable for us to ask. That's my point, is what I'm saying. So, my thing is, don't go and run out and see this movie and pay them this money. You don't owe nobody that. We don't owe nobody that. We've been paying these high prices and overpaying for everything since we come out of this pandemic. We don't owe nobody nothing. If anything, they deserve to show us a free movie. Because Hollywood put this together. Hollywood did this. The only reason they didn't release it at the time was because the whole organization is under investigation. Dang, I get fired up, man. Man. Well, I'm going to call it right there, man. Warren Garrett, Secrets to Recovery. Man, we did another one. You got to keep exposing it, man. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel ashamed to go see this, man. Don't believe the hype, man. Just like they used to tell us back in the day, don't believe everything you read. And don't believe everything you see online. No doubt. No doubt. Hey. Latin Dream. Hope you're shutting it down out there in Allentown, PA. Know what I mean? PTFG, what up? Tough. Product. No doubt, man. Hey, guys, man, I need some more music, man. I need some more music. Product. Hit me up, man. Go check out PTFG and Tough on the Stew. You'll see them on Facebook, YouTube, and I believe Instagram coming soon. Yeah. Signing off right there with it, man. Signing off, man. Signing off. Did it again, man. I'm out of here, man. I'll check you out for the next time we expose the grift.